Hi everybody, welcome to our Thursday night demo live on Facebook. Also will be available on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and also on our website at cooksemporium.com. Tonight we're eating cheese and we're very excited about it. Yes. And I have Karen here. Karen loves Switzerland, where the things we're making are both eaten. You got married in Switzerland, right?
That's true too, yes.
On top of a mountain?
Yes.
And did you have raclette for your wedding meal?
We had cheese fondue at night.
Oh, good. Perfect. So we're going to be making fondue, which a lot of people still think of as being kind of a 60s and 70s thing, but it is definitely hip again. It's usually eaten just in the winter, fondue and raclette, but I think anybody who loves cheese will want to eat it all year round because it's really good and it's definitely comfort food.
Yes.
And great for party.
Yes, I think
and I'm excited to do this because I've been wanting fondue all winter, but I cannot rationalize having a big glob of fondue just for one person. So I'm really excited to be doing this. And can't wait till we can all be maskless again and start having dinner parties again because this is going to be fun. So I'm going to start with the fondue. This is a really simple recipe. You can find other recipes online. And you can use pretty much any kind of melty cheese.
Yes,
you could even use cheddar. I wouldn't recommend it just because you can have cheddar on anything. So I would splurge and buy some nice cheese. What's your favorite cheese for fondue?
I think it's important to have a combination. One cheese should have a really intense, nice taste that you like, and then the other one should be more creamy.
Nice.
And it seems like each valley in the Alps has its own mountain cheese, and it's the local specialty. And one that we're going to make tonight in the western part of Switzerland and the French part of Switzerland is called moitié-moitié. So it's half Vacherin de Fribourg, and the other half is Gruyère. And these are specific cheeses that come from a small region. The cows eat the local herbs and grass in the Alps, and that influences the taste.
Nice. And it's worth the splurge. So I also often will make it just with raclette, which is a cheese as well as being the grill and kind of the whole setup. But since we're doing raclette for this, we're going to do these other two cheeses. Like I said, you can choose, you can put goat cheese in. You'll want to have something that's got a little bit more heft to it. But you can put goat cheese in for flavoring. You can use Swiss cheese, Jarlsberg, all kinds of different cheeses, right? So, but we're going to start with wine. We're going to put in a cup of wine. And the recipe you'll see is, I'm not going to follow it exactly, but pretty close. But there are all kinds of recipes out there that you can try. A lot of them will ask for kirsch, which is cherry brandy, but it's not the same as Kirschwasser.
Well, it's the same as Kirschwasser, but it's not what you can buy here. So it's a lot more harsh and edgy.
What we get?
What we bring from Germany as Kirschwasser. It's not sweet at all. You get the cherry flavor, but it is really like a clear schnapps. And many people add it to the fondue just before it's served. Many people drink Kirschwasser while they have cheese fondue. The idea is that it might make it easier to digest, but that's really not true. So be careful with that.
Okay, so when you add that, which is not in our recipe tonight, but when you add that, you just want a little bit of it, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing that we're going to do, most recipes for fondue will tell you to slice your garlic in half and rub it all over the inside of your, what's this called?
Caquelon.
I call it a fondue pot. And this one here is from Emile Henry, which is one of my favorites. It is a burgundy clay, and this can go right on the stovetop, as is, and then it can go onto the sterno. So most of the recipes that you'll see will say, rub the garlic on here. You want to get the oils and stuff out of the garlic, and then discard your garlic. But you guys know me by now, and I'm going to just chop up my garlic and add it in here. And these are pretty big chunks, which are going to be a little bit of a surprise for somebody that gets one. But hopefully it will be a yummy surprise. You can mince this. I usually do mince it, but I'm just going to chop it up tonight. And then I'm going to add my water. Not my water, my wine. And you want to use a minerally acidic wine, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us, you have
just
more
a little
info.
bit, yeah, about the Yerman and the second bottle that we have here. So Yerman is a wine that is made on the border of Slovenia and northeastern Italy. It's an Austrian family that has relocated a couple of times, and it's a Sauvignon Blanc. And Joel was great in getting us several bottles. We have maybe just under 2 cases. This wine is usually about $30, and we are able to sell it right now for $12.99.
$12.99,
So that's
for
an amazing
$30
price.
bottle wine.
And it's the acidity and the minerality just really go well with the cheese. It cuts into the cheese, and it's not citrusy as much or grapefruity as other Sauvignon Blancs, so it's a really nice combination. And then the second wine that we have tonight is really something that is here for the first time. It's a Swiss wine, and the Swiss love their wines. So it's very difficult to get wines from Switzerland outside of Switzerland. They like to drink wine for lunch, for dinner, in the afternoon, before they meet with friends.
Breakfast?
No, breakfast I haven't seen, but they are joyous people. They love to get together, and wine is always part of it. And that one is a grape that is called Fondue in Switzerland. Other places like France call it Chasselas. And it's a grape that can produce a very, very nice wine. This one is grown at a certain altitude in the southwestern part of Switzerland, and it's a wine grower that tries to be very careful and respect nature, and they call it an integrated production. And it has just a hint of lemon, but it's mostly a great acidity and a crunchy minerality. Again, that it's an awesome wine, but it is a little bit more expensive. This one is $42.99, I believe. So if you want to have a little flair of Switzerland, make this dinner and grab a bottle. It's not going to be more authentic than that.
Yeah. And you had some of this the other night, right?
We had some the other night, and we had a good time, yes. It was very nice.
Awesome. All right, so my wine is heating up here. And then I have my cheese, which I'm about to add, which I have grated. This is the Vacherin and the Gruyere, cave-aged Gruyere. We usually have Vacherin. I do not have any right now in stock. We do have Gruyere, and we do have Raclette. And we have fondue pots, and we have Raclette grills available as well. So what I did was I mixed in my flour with this. A lot of recipes will call for cornstarch, and you'll want to also just toss it with your cheese, just so it's going to mix in really well, and it'll melt in. It'll mix in as the cheese melts. And I'm just going to add this a little bit at a time. My wine is pretty hot here. Is this how you do it?
I actually put everything in the pot from the get-go.
Well, let's just do that.
And then I just keep stirring.
And just let it melt.
And let it melt until everything is nice and hot.
So if you find that it's too thick, you can always add more wine. Nothing wrong with that. If you don't drink wine, you can use, you want to use an unsalted chicken stock or vegetable stock.
I've never tasted it, but I've read that you can use broth or water and lemon juice or apple juice if you want to do this non-alcoholic, or maybe you have kids who like the sweeter taste. So that's definitely worth a trial.
Yeah, and you want to use a nice wine in this. You don't want to use, your $2 bottle of white wine. You don't have to spend, tons and tons of money, but you do want to get a nice wine because you're going to really taste the wine in the fondue.
Yeah.
So you don't have to splurge on the $42. I wouldn't use that in it. Drink that. But you want a nice bottle of wine.
And I think you might actually
need a little bit more.
End up adding a little bit more.
I think I will. Do you want to do the honors, Karen?
I'm going to try.
Some of the chunks in here are the garlic, and some are the cheese. Look at that. Oh, doesn't that look good? I'd also like to mention that one of the things we're going to be dipping in this tonight is a baguette that our friends at Center Street Bakery gave us, and it's going to be awesome. If you haven't tried their breads, go onto their website. They've got a menu. with what they're serving and making every day. They've got great grab-and-go lunch stuff, bibimbap and noodle bowls and salads and soup and stuff like that. So if you have not ever checked them out, take a look. Oh, this is going to be really whiny.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun dinner, folks.
And the baguette from Center Street Bakery is a good choice, but there are other breads that you can use. They also make a very nice boule that is a little darker and has a lot of taste, and it's a great addition for this.
Oh, and that seeded bread they make. They make a great bread that's all kinds of seeds. I think that's good, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
That would be fantastic in this. It's got pumpkin seeds and stuff like that. That would be great. So this is all melted. If you don't have a pot that can go right onto the stove, then you'll want to take your cheese and put it into your fondue pot, which you're going to put here. And Karen is afraid I'm going to knock my wine over, which I probably will. I've got a sterno in here, which we sell here if you need. And I'm going to light that. I'm going to light that.
Beautiful.
And then this guy, you want to start out, it's hard to see, I don't know if you can see, but there are little holes in there, and you want to get it a good temperature. You don't want it super, super hot because it's just going to burn the cheese on the bottom.
Do you think it's on?
Yeah, I can see the flame.
Great.
So you just want to keep an eye on that, and as, give it a stir every so often, and as your fondue gets low as it's being eaten, you just want to do less and less heat. Thank you. There you go. There's always something, folks, with our microphones. Then when you're done, there's a little cover, and you put that over. It stops the oxygen getting to it, and it'll just go right out, just like snuffing a candle. So I'm going to keep stirring this.
Yes.
Let's talk about raclette.
Let's talk about the raclette. Raclette is a very wonderful group dinner because you can take the whole evening to eat. You don't have to eat fast. You can make your little portions one at a time, and that there's conversation flowing, and it's just so nice. And you can combine it with any ingredients that you like. The typical maybe, or some of the typical ones might be a prosciutto, which we have out here. You could have, if you like some meat, you could do some salami. You can also do tomato or corn we have here. And we always eat it with steamed or boiled potatoes. And we like to keep the peel on and just basically put it all on the plate together. And I'm going to just put a slice of tomato under my cheese. This raclette burner has been on for about half an hour. It always takes a little time. It comes with these non-stick little shovels that you put underneath a broiler that sits underneath this granite stone. The granite does get very hot. I'm actually in a very good position here right now.
Feels nice today.
And you could actually grill something on top or keep something else warm. There are many different ways that you can do this. And I usually leave it under for a few minutes until it starts to form a brown crust. And in the meantime, on the plate, you start working with your potato, and you could do some cornichon or some pickled onion, which we have over there. If you like that pickled taste, I think it really works together well with the cheese. And if you don't like to drink wine, I did want to mention that. A lot of people drink tea, and that is a very good combination. Whether it's a verbena or whether it's a black tea, herbal tea works really well with the cheese as well.
Nice. So how do you make this meal healthy? Not that cheese is bad for you folks, but how do you make it a little more healthy?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think the ingredients are all very healthy. I think it is probably the amount that you eat that influences it the most.
So you usually have a salad with it?
Yeah, you start with a salad, and then you have your main course. And the salad is very often something that's called corn salad or lamb salad. Difficult to grow in Maine, I think. It's a delicious, nutty kind of taste. And often they put sautéed mushrooms on top. And then it just has a vinaigrette, And then you have your main course, and then for dessert, for example, a slice of fresh pineapple, just to help you digest. Something fruity, again, the acidity helps to cut into the cheese. But you can also have what we call a Coupe Danmark, and I think it's a chocolate sundae here, or it's vanilla ice cream with hot chocolate sauce and whipped cream. Just splurge.
Nice.
Yeah.
The other option is to have chocolate fondue. If you want to go all out and do fondue, there's a recipe included with this recipe tonight, the cheese fondue, for a really easy chocolate fondue. You don't want to make as much as this, probably. Maybe you do want to, but it's great for dipping cookies or fresh strawberries, fresh fruit, fresh berries of any kind. And that also makes a nice end to your meal. Some of the other things besides the lovely bread from Center Street, I also like to steam broccoli florets because that allows the cheese to really get in. I also roast potatoes to put in which was a new one for you.
Yep.
But roasted potatoes are great. Little pieces of sautéed chicken or steak or pork can also be used. And I know you weren't really thrilled about this idea, but I love shrimp with fondue.
That's okay.
Switzerland is landlocked, so I guess
Right.
it's not really, it's not something that you'd think of, but it is good.
Yeah. The shrimp takes a long time to get to Switzerland.
It does. Has to swim up the river.
Yeah.
Anything we should know if we're going to be throwing a fondue party or a raclette party?
So I'll show you just what it's looking like here.
Oh,
I'll leave it in
that's
a little longer. I just like that roasted flavor when it forms a little crust. I think maybe the most important thing when you have a party is to let everybody know what you're planning to do, because there are people who don't like the smell of melted cheese or who just don't want to eat that much cheese.
Or dip out of the same.
Or dip out of the same container. Yeah. At least with if it's not outside of the family, I guess. Yeah. So make sure you let everybody know what you're planning to do, and then those who come will love it. And
so
bon appetit.
Can you show us what we do with the top? You just put the meat or the veggies or whatever right on the top of it?
Yes, it's really hot. So you could actually grill a piece of chicken or a piece of meat on top.
So when you're eating, do you put your prosciutto on there, your salami?
No, I actually put everything in the little shovel.
Okay.
I just like the flavors as they mix. So this one isn't hot enough yet, but it will melt, and then I actually don't use the top for that purpose for this dinner. Yeah,
you can use the top for that purpose.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people do put their like little pieces of steak, or maybe have their prosciutto wrapped around asparagus or something and cook it on the top like that.
Yeah.
All right, I guess that's it. We're ready to feast and have a little glass of wine.
Okay,
There you go.
We're going to try. You see the color?
Bon
Very
appetit.
nice.
Yes, it's beautiful. Have a great cheesy evening, everyone. We'll see you next time.